Oh, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Now, it is the Monday Night Fan Zone show. My name is Phil Holloway, and we are here to debate Leicester City. This is your fan show. We are Leicester fans. You are Leicester fans. That's what we do. We're going to talk about all the big topics in tonight's show, but I want your views. I want your comments. What do you want to talk about? It is your show. If you want to come on camera, you can come on camera and let us know what you want to talk about. If you want to put the comments into the chat box, you can put it in there. We'll put up them on screen. So this is your show. I don't want to lead this. I want you guys to tell me what you want to talk about. So much to talk about here in tonight's show. We're going to go for longer than half an hour tonight, no doubt. So get your views in, get your comments in, and join the biggest fan debate for Leicester City fans anywhere to be found.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. First of all, thanks to all the guys who helped bring us Leicester Fan TV. That's ADT, Hollogram, Everards, Peter Pizza, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, who good luck to Riders tonight. They are midway through their semi-final playoff against Glasgow Rocks, so we'll check on that score in a bit. Fox's Arms out there in Alcudia, Newby Co, and Hope Against Cancer. You can follow us anywhere you want at Leicester Fan TV. We've got past that. Now, it's your show. It's your comments. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. That really helps us get things going. And I want to know what you want to talk about. I can put things on screen just like this, as you know. Good evening, Neil. How are you? Karen, how are you? BA says, useless Leicester coach. That's what I'd like to talk about. Okay, well, we can go there. God Singh says, I was at last night's game, disappointed in the side-to-side play. Yeah, well, that side-to-side play, we could definitely talk about that. Puel ball, some people are saying, is it that much different to Claude Puel? Come on, let's have your views in. Lewis says, we're not progressing, so frustrating, sometimes play brilliant, then 15 games mediocre. Andy says, I'm sorry, but the buck stops with Brendan. He picks the team and the tactics. Andy, I'm coming to your point of view. There is a lot to talk about. I'm going to get as many as your comments on there. We want to know what you want to talk about. I'm going to chuck some things out there. These are the big debates, in my opinion. Brendan said after the match yesterday, not got enough time in our busy schedule to practice and sort set pieces out. What? Please? We've let in how many goals? Somebody will tell me how many goals we've let in this season. Practice set pieces? It's a bit of a basic, isn't it? 2 men on the post, 1 or 2 men up top, big men on big men, head it out. Goalkeeper needs to command his area. Not rocket science. Are the players already on the beach? They certainly looked like it yesterday. Do you think they're already on the beach? Can Rodgers rebuild this team? Is he the man to do it? I want to know your views on that. We're going to discuss it tonight. Do you trust him? If you're Rodgers, you think he's the man. Do you trust him to buy the right players? Because I want to talk to you about Daka, Sumari, Vestergaard, Bertrand. The worst summer signings since Slimani, Musa, etc. In my opinion. But what do you think? Come on, big question. Are you Rodgers in or out? If you want to have that debate, you can talk about it. Is it time for a mass exit? Who's going to leave in the summer? I think we already know Yuri's going to go. I mean, the worst kept secret ever. And then today you could see it on Twitter. Oh, Arsenal are in. Who do you think is going to go? Who would you sell? Is there some players in there you think that's enough? We need to let them go. Is it time? Is it time to change Casper? I'm chucking it out there. I want your views on it. And if so, who are we going to buy? Come on camera live. Click on the link. Let us know. I've already shared the link. Come on camera and let us know what you think. I know a lot of people want to get their views in, and I want to get as many different comments in there. Anthony says, good evening. Have you recovered from the bevy yet, sir? Just. Joe says, did you do the survey about the atmosphere? I've had the link. I haven't filled it out yet. Have you, Joe? What did you think about the singing corner? James, good evening to you there. Mick says, a fresh start with a new manager required who likes to play attacking football and also can sort out a team who can defend. Mick, I want to talk to you. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, left back. Left wing back. What message does that say to Luke Thomas? Is my question to you. You got Luke Thomas, a left wing back, who I actually think has done really well in the last 18 months, but he plays Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall there. I do not understand that. Harry wants to talk about Barnes. Not the player quite that we thought he was going to be 18 months ago. Is he, Harry? What is it time for Barnes to go? I've heard whiffs and rumours today that Barnes might be looking to go. Mark, good evening. How's Norwich? We got you guys. I know, obviously, Mark's a Leicester fan, but he comes from like that area of Norwich. Poison Chalice game on Wednesday. Oh my goodness, so much to talk about. If we were to lose against Norwich at home, what on earth could go on there? Anthony says, Puel 2022. I'm sort of with you a bit. Bring back Pleat, Simon. Listen, things are not that bad. Yuri has to be benched now. Do you agree with that? What do you think? If rumours are right, Kasper Kags and Yuri are going. Well, listen, Kasper's already said he wants to play. I think he said European football, or was it Champions League? So that's pretty much like, if you don't make it, if Leicester don't make it to Europe, Kasper's saying, I want to go. And I don't blame him, because he's coming towards the end of his career. So I don't blame Kasper. Gaglar Soyuncu, I think, should stick around. But Tom says time for a rebuild in there. It's like Puel all over again. Has Rodgers took us as far as he can? I can see some people have clicked on that link, so I'm going to be adding them in. Don't forget, you can click on that link. Mick saying, I think he has lost the plot and the dressing room in there. Has he lost the dressing room, Mick? He stood in there apparently after the game for like 30 or 40 minutes. So I was waiting on Radio Leicester. Our Tom was on there. I hope you heard him, but we were waiting for Brendan. Took him a long time to come out. And then did he sort of throw some of the players under the bus again? Do it in there. We are doing worse than the greatest escape, says James. That was Tom's stat. I think yesterday on Radio Leicester, he said that. I'm going to add in, I've got a few people clicked on the link. Jamie from the Fox's Arms. Are you around for a short time or a long time? Not long. I'm going to add Jamie in and then Tom, because I know you're a busy guy.
How are you, Phil? You all right? How's it going?
All right, Jamie. How's the pub business? Busy?
It's good. It's a bit of a quiet night, so I've been able to join you tonight. So yes.
Well, that's why I thought I'd get you on just for a quick word. There's so much to talk about.
I'm definitely 100% still on the out camp. I'm on that side of the fence. The performances have been dreadful. Everyone says, oh, wait till the players get back, wait till we get fit. Yeah, they're all fit. Evans, Fofana, things haven't changed. Set pieces. They had one corner on Sunday, Everton did, and they scored from it. They scored from the one corner.
Rodgers said they haven't had time to sort set pieces out, Jamie, because of the busy schedule. His words.
It ain't rocket science, like you said, Phil. Big men, head it out, and Kasper comes and commands the box and scores. And collects the ball.
I mean, Kasper didn't do so well at that corner. Again, flapped, pushed it down. Could have saved it.
It's just so annoying. You asked the question about how many goals we've conceded. It's 18 from corners this year. 18 corners from Premiership goals. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But my view, Phil, you know what I'm like. I'm a Rodgers out. Unfortunately, I've got to go now because people have just walked in. So
see you later.
That's it.
Jamie's out. See you later.
See you later, mate.
Jamie's Rodgers out. Are you Rodgers out? Are you Rodgers in? I'm not saying I want to have that debate, but there is enough people want to have that debate. My bigger thing is, because I am Rodgers in, and I'll keep saying it, I'm getting more and more frustrated week in, week out with his tactics, but I'm Rodgers in. I question this. Do I trust him to buy the right players in the summer? Because I honestly think last summer's signings were a disaster. And I'm saying that. I've been saying it for a few weeks. Don't rate Daka. Sumari, don't rate. Vestergaard, I think we all know. And Bertrand, they're not good enough. None of those four are first-team players. And that's what we bought. Jokey aside, let's get a few comments in. Then I'm going to add Tom in. Jokey aside, sacking Rodgers, who is available? Don't see any names mentioned who could do the right job. Bazza, I think that's why I'm still on the Rodgers in. Rob says, don't want to see Brendan go, but the shambles that's being produced and the trajectory we're on, he's living on borrowed time. I would say if he has a nasty 10-12 start, 10-12 first games to next season, Rob, big trouble we're in. Why didn't he buy a big 6'5" defender who can't defend? Talking about Vestergaard there. Daka and Sumari can come good, but Rodgers must go for me. Adam, you're right. They could come good. Next season, they could be brilliant. But why did we buy players who weren't ready for this season's Premier League when we were in the Europa League? We just finished top 5, 2 seasons on the trot. That's why I can't take this. Sumari and Daka are good enough next year. Give them time. We needed players for this year. Next year could be too late. Probably is now because we're not in Europe. Jack is too busy about Donny getting relegated, says Haley. Think he needs to focus on Leicester. Okay. Aggie says, if you think yesterday was bad, just spare a thought. 29 years ago today, we lost 7-1 to Newcastle. So it's not all doom and gloom. I agree. Aggie, listen, 2008, we got relegated against Stoke, wasn't it? So I've been there, seen there, literally got the T-shirt. In fact, this shirt's from a good season. Harry says, I hope Barnes leaves and we need to bring in Daniel Iverson now. Nick saying Rodgers is so full of bull. Emoji. He's pure in disguise. The only thing misses is intensity. The intensity and the integrity. That was Puel was intensity and integrity, but Rodgers is now about aggression and determination. They're the words he's using. They're the same words, aren't they? Intensity, determination, integrity, aggression. Is it the same thing again? Dave, I think Rodgers has taken us as far as he can. That's my fear, Dave. I'm going to add Tom in very, very carefully. We're so negative, yet Casper out, Cags Vestergaard, Tielemans, says LCFC, great in there. Carmen, good evening. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing well. Michael, I do wonder where the dressing room atmosphere is like. I've got a feeling, Michael, it's not good. Let's get Tom in. Tom is joining the stream now. Tom.
Good evening, mate.
So much to talk about, Tom. And I'm just going to say, everybody who's putting a comment in, we're going to keep putting them on screen while we're chatting, Tom. I don't know, where do you want to start?
Corners, set pieces. I think you summed it up nicely a bit earlier that we looked more comfortable when, obviously, yesterday, look, it's not to get it wrong. It's a free header from Richarlison. It's a poor parry from Casper in some ways back out into the middle of the box. But Daniel Amati, I mean, come on. He just stands there. His feet are in concrete. He doesn't even move. He doesn't even know where his man's gone. And he gets a free header and scores a goal. And it's the only corner of the game, like Jamie said. The frustration. The time we've actually looked more comfortable is when we've done the opposite. We've had the big men in the box. And then we've chucked Vardy, Albrighton or Barnes, a front three on the halfway line and dragged some of those bodies out the way. Yeah. Cleared the space. Still kept 2 people on the line. We looked more comfortable doing that. And then suddenly we go back after 2 games of doing it, back to this, cram the box, put some big men in, because apparently that's what we need, and conceding goals again. So, bit strange. Didn't get the tactics at all yesterday. It was on you, as you said, you listed me on to Pizzeria Leicester. Me and Parker agreeing that, what's it say to Luke Thomas when you're putting Dewsbury Hall as a left wing back?
Why did he do that, Tom? His post-match views, Brendan was saying he wanted a bit more. Again, he was using that word aggression. He wanted a bit more positivity down the left-hand side, and he thought Dewsbury Hall would offer more attacking play. I think he was trying to sell it to us after the game that Dewsbury Hall would be more. Luke Thomas has been bombing up and down that left wing. What does it say to Luke Thomas that I'm not picking you? I'm putting the central midfield guy at left wing back.
Exactly, academy product who's come in and done well most of the times. Yeah, the last few games, I'm going to lie, he hasn't had the brightest and best of games, but you know, what confidence that say to him now that a midfielder is now playing in that position? Does that say to him, oh, Brendan doesn't trust me to the job? You know, it doesn't fill him with the confidence he should be needing. It was a strange decision. It was a strange team all round, mate. I know we're, again, bare bones because you've lost Madison, Ricardo and Justin in the space of 2 or 3 days since Rome away, and he's had to change it up a little bit, but it was a strange one for me. Once again, we're going against a team who are 18th in the league and we're setting up with a back 3.
I mean, I've just put there, Tom, as you can read that, hopefully you can work that out, but for me, I'm at the stage of the season now, I'm like, make Kieran Dewsbury Hall captain and put him in the centre midfield and show the others what some bloody guts is like. And either he does it or he doesn't.
I think so. I think for me now, give some of the younger kids a go. You know, I'd love to see to get a chance on Wednesday night in the middle of the park with Jude Hall and Madison. I made it quite clear on Saturday that, look, Tillemans will go down as a legend of the football club. He scored the cup final goal. He'll go down as in history. But he's going the same way his career went at Monaco, and he got the move what he wanted then to Leicester. He basically not down tools, but his performance levels dropped off into the latter part, and that's why Monaco sent him out to Leicester. He had an amazing 6 months. We paid the 40 million, and we've had 3 great seasons. But before the season was even a ball was kicked, there was an about if he wants to be at the football club still. And I think we've seen it this season. There's not been the consistency. Something's been on his mind, and the last 4 or 5 games, he doesn't even seem anywhere able to scratch about playing the game. So for me, pull him onto the bench. It's 4 games to go, and give Brunt a game in that middle of the park.
Tom, another Tom here. Tom Fura says Casper needs replacing anyway. Is it time? Is this when Rodgers is talking about a summer rebuild? Is part of it? I know Tielemans is probably going to go, and we'll debate other players. But just before I let you go, Tom, well, you're going to stick around. I'm going to add in Joe Wright's joined, Ross, Jack, Reedy. There's more before anybody else. Just Casper, is this the summer? He said he wants to play European football, and we can't offer that now. So has he by default said that's me leaving?
No.
And is it time anyway?
I think he's kept us in more games than you can count that he's knocked us out of games. I mean, he's made enough crucial saves over the season once again to get us at more points than we would have if he wasn't in goal. I still think he's got another couple of seasons in an Leicester shirt, and I still think he'll be here next season. As for Daniel Everson, I will say one thing. The kid's got a very bright future in front of him, but Championship football is 10 times lower than what you're playing in the Premier League week in, week out. And look, he's made some worldy saves, and he's pulled 3 or 4 saves in a row, but that is against Championship strikers, not against Premier League strikers who only need that one chance to put the ball in the net. It's a completely different kettle of fish for me.
I'm going to get some comments in, and then Tom, stick around. I'm going to add Joe Wright in next, if that's all right. He's clicked on it, Joe, so get ready to come on. Adam says here, Casper Cags, Yuri Barnes can all go for me. Tom comes back and says, as soon as you start throwing players under the bus, it's only heading one way. Yeah, I sort of agree with that. Nick saying a big one here, saying poor transfer season. With the amount we paid for Daka, Samari and Vestergaard, you would have hoped at least one of them would be good enough for regular starts. But looks like we've thrown good money away. Nick, I'm with you. I'm afraid with that. I'm absolutely with you on that. Andy's saying here, against Roma, we had our best team out and didn't have a shot on target till I think it was the 79th minute. Phil Upton says, got to blame coaching staff as well as Brendan. Even under 23 is pretty dire to feed the first team. Ben, hi Ben, hope you're well, saying, how could anybody blindly defend him? It don't make you less of a fan to see it going spectacularly wrong. Ben is an out person. Mick saying Top is making a massive mistake if he keeps him as manager. Listen. I know what we're all hurting from Roma. I think part of us hurting from Roma is the manner of going out. Again, I will ask Tom about that manner of the exit. Ellis, come on. He's saying bring back Ranieri or Pearson, 2 of my favourite managers of all time, Ellis, but I think that is not going to be the situation. Baz is saying never should a goalkeeper be captain. I'm with you, Baz, on that, I'm afraid. Brings nothing to the table. Keepers are captains by default because a keeper needs to command his area and his back line. You don't need to make him a captain. He should be doing that. But as a keeper, how can you dish out instructions to the midfield and attack when you're in front of 30 to 70,000 fans and they're 50, 70, 80 yards away? So I am with you, Bazza. I just think keepers, captains by default anyway, just by backing the back line. Let's get in here. Tom's still with us. Let's add in Joe Wright.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining. I think you're about the first time you've come on, so
yes,
let us know your views, please, Joe.
Well, the reason it's the first time I've come on is because genuinely I'm just getting fed up of this corner situation. With the fact that we're conceding so many from corners, and every time I'm watching us play, whether that be at the game or on TV, wherever I'm watching, I'm panicking. I'm panicking every time. And the comments that Brendan made after yesterday's match really did rile me. I'm a Brendan in man. I have been for a long time. But when you come out and you say, oh, we haven't had enough time to practice on set pieces, our biggest weakness, the other 19 teams in the league know this. You know, they know what our weakness is. Why aren't you practicing it? You're a professional football team. It's not like, you know, you've got the rest of it. You've got all your time to practice on it. It's our biggest weakness. Why are we not working on this in the training ground? I don't get it. Those words really did just rile me up. I was like, well, What are we doing? Everybody can see it. It really riled me up.
Tom, you can see Joe is rolled up. I listened on the radio Leicester afterwards, and I thought, did you just say that? And then Jake, one of the other lads from Leicester Fan TV content team, flicked back through. He said, I saw them playing water polo the other week in the pool up at Seagrave or something. And he scrolled back and he goes, they're playing water polo here, which I get is all fitness. And I think it was even during an international week. But like Joe's clearly upset about it, strange thing to say after the match. We haven't got time in the schedule to practice set pieces.
Can I ask Joe a question? Joe, obviously you're frustrated. I think we're all frustrated about the season as in general and the set pieces that we've conceded. But from every game you've watched, I know Brendan takes some stick for these goals we're conceding.
Of course.
But what can he do when he's standing on the touchline and he's watching defenders like Daniel Amati standing there losing his man? I'm not sticking up for Brendan here. Also, I'm Brendan in. I've always said that. But Brendan can't do anything when he's on the pitch. He's only can guide the players from, training to this. So what can he do differently? What should the players be doing?
I do understand what you're saying. And I agree with you, that it's the players that are at fault. And I, kind of watching the ball, not the man, all of that stuff that you'd think that the managers go through when they're looking at these set pieces. But then I think back to the goal we conceded against Roma and the fact that Ricardo, 5'0", was on Tammy Abraham. And that was just something for me that technically, why is he been told to mark Tammy Abraham when you know that he's going to be a threat in the air and they'll be looking for him, especially with how weak we are from corners? Mourinho will have been looking at that and going, oh, right, okay, so we're going to try and get him involved in the game. We're going to try and get him on. So why is Ricardo the one marking him? Now, I understand completely what you're saying, but just from that particular point, I was like, there's something not right in the training ground. And then Brendan's comments kind of...
Yeah, because Joe, I'm gonna add to what Joe says. Tom, I don't know the match yesterday. Watched it back in super slow mo today. Trust me, in the office, that goal where the goal Everton scored from the corner. Now, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is on the near post to the corner being taken. He stood on that because me and Reedy were having an argument. I was saying there was nobody on that post again, and Reedy says there was. Watch it back. And Kiernan Dewsbury Hall was stood on the post. The minute the ball is kicked, he runs out effectively into no man's land, goes nowhere near the ball, and leaves the post unattended. Now, either that's Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, a 24-year-old player who doesn't know how to mark a post, or Kiernan Dewsbury Hall who's being coached and tacticked and trained to stand on the post and then as soon as the ball's kicked, move out. Strange.
I think if you've seen it before, Vardy normally takes up that position into that front stick, front post, and he tries to win the first header. I think you've seen it a few times now. Vardy always stands in and around the front post to try and get the front header away from the box if he comes into that area. And suddenly at the moment, Vardy's not playing, so probably Dewsbury being the one who's put in that position. And yeah, look, it's one of those games this season where you could say, Forest away, what's Daniel Amati doing? Passing the ball back to Casper from the tight positions. He can't change that on the touchline. He's not asked a player to pass the ball back to him. The game against Roma, mate, I completely agree with you, Joe. The frustration to see Ricardo, and you listened to Brendan yesterday say that he picked Daniel Amati as the big man, the aggressor, but there was no aggression in from Daniel Amati because he gives a free header away. So, as you say, there's bits where you can say Brendan, but there's also bits you can blame the players because something is not right. Something is not happening. And then to your brain went, we just got to get to the end of the season now and try and work on it in the summer. Well, that's just burying your head in the sand, mate. Don't be an ostrich. Don't put your head in the sand like Pearson.
Exactly.
Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Please do come on again, please. It was great to have your views.
Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, Joe. Anytime. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. We're going to add in. I'm going to get a few comments in. So, Tom, I'll just give you a wee little break there. And then I'm going to keep Tom's around. We've got Reedy, Jack, and Ross clicked on that link. Don't forget, if you want to click on that link, I'm sharing it again. There we go. We want to get as many views in as we can. Ellis says give Fofana the captaincy. Ellis, I'm going to throw it back to you. I know Fofana signed a new contract. I do expect him to be around next season. Do you expect him to be around? Do you trust Rodgers to buy the right players? Is it time for a mass exit? Who would you sell? Who would you buy? Come on, camera. Let us know your views. Come on. We want as many comments as we can. And you can click on the link to come in there. Ellis says, give Hamza a chance. The council, good evening. What will we get for Yuri? Looks like he's off. If we don't get 55 million for him, it's not good. I've got a feeling we won't get that much, but I'd like to think we'd at least get the £40 million back. Are you guys going Wednesday, Joe? Yes, I am. Am I looking forward to it? No, because I'm actually quite fearful if we play at all like we did against Everton, that Norwich, you've got nothing to play for and lost 4-0 at home at the weekend against West Ham, could come and get some points off us. I really do. I think if we carry on like that. Anthony says, tired of hearing from fans saying, look where we came from. Not long ago, we won the league. Why are we making excuses for mediocrity? Leicester City is a business and successful industry, doesn't live in the past. Anthony, I hear what you're saying because I come from the past. I remember David Pleat. I remember... But I also remember the last 2 seasons we finished 5th and 5th, and both seasons we should have finished 4th and 4th. So to finish 5th, and then 14th this season is definitely a slump. And as Tom said the other day, yesterday, I think it was Tom on BBC Radio Leicester, said, at this rate, we're going to have less points than the greatest escape season. Bear that in mind. Let's add in Reedy. Let's see what Reedy's got to say. Here we go. Reedy. Yes,
Hello.
give us your views. You were there yesterday. What do you want to talk about tonight?
The problem is I'm still a Rodgers in. The only issue is I think it's more the players for me. Yuri is not interested. We've seen that tweets today on Twitter saying that he wants to go. Well, he doesn't want to go. He's gone already, pretty much. And he just showed yesterday in the shots he made, 2 40-yarder shots. He just went nowhere near the goal. You just think, what's the point? There's a few people, like we said in the office today, that Casper, to be honest, if you want to be improving like with the play we are playing, as in the passing play, and more like a Man City coming from the back, you need a keeper who commands his box, comes out and can distribute the ball. You can't. He has the odd throw and the odd kick that looks amazing, but other than that, barely any of these kicks go to anyone now. And we need players that can bring the ball from defence going upwards. And the only one for me at the moment is Fofana. Evans is okay, yes, but he's scared to go over the halfway line. And Fofana, for me, always does it. You've got Castagna and Justin, who used to always go down the wings, and we love doing it. And I thought we would against Everton because we played 3 at the back. We didn't see any of that because we played Dewsbury Hall on 1 wing back, which is ridiculous, and he should be playing in midfield. But for me, it's mainly just we need to get rid of some players and bring in the players that we do need. And I think, in my opinion, Daka still needs to be in the team. Sumari will still be in the team. But it's a game like Roma. I said that we need that defensive mid player to just hold that ball in midfield, and then he goes and puts Dewsbury Hall and Tillemans in them DM roles. And no one even knows that role. None of you know the role. The best 2 people you could put in there is Chowdhury or maybe Samari. But I just thought, I bet his idea was, oh, our better players are here. We'll put them in. So for me, yes, it's probably not Rodgers' best idea is putting just players who are the best in our club, but it just needs to change. But I'm still on the Rodgers inside. And I said to you today, Phil, that Arsenal brought in a set piece coach at the start of the season. They've conceded 1 corner. We've
1 goal from a corner, yeah.
We've literally got Kolo Touré. He's a defensive player, but defensive coach, but there's no one specifically for set pieces, and it's just gone tits up, really, hasn't it? So.
Let's get a few comments in, Tom, just for a second, because I'm trying to get as many on screen. Anthony says, how many chances are we going to give Brendan Rodgers by excuses? And they seem to be getting more strange excuses, Anthony. He's very clumsy with some of his words. I think Tim is talking about Brendan there. He's right. We got time for water polo. I know that. I mean, they put it on their own Twitter feed. It was a few weeks ago, but they put it there, and then it comes back to bite them on the bum when they say they haven't got time to do practicing. If that's the case, extra training session ain't rocket science. Somebody else said that to me, Tom. Make time, because it's cost you a European final. It's cost you positions in the league, Tom.
I mean, the European semi-final isn't just down to the corner, mate, is it? There's also the fact that
it kind of was in a way that they scored from it again.
But the rest of the game, mate, was dismal.
Yeah.
It was dismal. There was no, when we're looking at it, what is it, the 76th minute before we had a shot on target, and that was a Maddison long range effort. That summed up our game, really, mate. That we got forward like we did at the weekend. We passed it round beautifully at the back, as Brendan said. We get to the final third, and it's all right, this slow passing, but in and around the box, and we have seen it. There is times when it's worked brilliantly. Probably not this season, but there's past seasons we've played the ticky-tacky football Brendan wants to play. But the only way you can do that is by moving the ball one touch. At the moment, we haven't got the players who can play this one-touch football at the moment for some reason. It's completely disappeared. And this was more a point yesterday to Matt Piper. Tell me the identity, because it's not just a possession-based game now, because we can keep the ball. We all know we can keep the ball and pass it from Fafana to Evans, back to Gafana, back to Marty, back to Cassania, then we move it back around from right to left. But where's our identity after that? Because at the moment, there's nothing. It's just we keep the ball, we get to the final third, and then we go, oh, we'll try and chip one into the box. Or we're going, like yesterday, what I didn't get, we got the ball wide, and we were flinging these balls in left, right, and centre to two small strikers in Iheanacho and Daka. I didn't get that tactics against Everton, who had Keane, Coleman, Marenko, the goal scorer for them yesterday. All good headers of the ball. So we'll put the ball in the box that way. What wasn't working, there's no identity to Leicester at the moment for some reason.
Reedy, go on. I'm going to let you go after this, Reedy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with Tom's kind of point of view as well. The Man City style of play is kind of how we're trying to get to. It's going to take us a while, yes, but the way we're trying to play is we go down the wings with the fullbacks or the wing backs and they're free at the back. What do the Man City players do? They try and cut back in. All we do is cross it. And every time we cross that ball, I just think, why are we crossing it to two small men, like Tom said, instead of a big guy like Ujara or something that we might have in the middle of the box? But we don't have anyone like that at all. And that's where you say, Phil, we need a plan B. But that is the one thing I think we still need to find.
I'm so bored of saying plan B. I've been saying it for 18 months, 2 years now. Reedy, thanks for joining us so much. I'm going to let you go. Cheers, mate. Thanks, Reedy, for that. I'm going to add in, I'm just going to go through some more fans' comments, trying to get as many as you can. Don't forget, in exchange, I'll try and get as many up there. You guys, I can see how many people have liked, and not nearly enough people have liked this video yet. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, do give us a subscribe or a retweet on Twitter. We are live on all platforms tonight, and we want to know what you want to talk about. We generally do. We've listed a whole heap of things. There's so much to talk about. We knew we were going to go on for longer today, but there is so much to talk about. We're trying to get to it in a minute. I'm going to add in Imran is waiting in a minute. Mahad is waiting. Ross is waiting. Jack is waiting. Please be patient. I will get you guys on. Okay. A few comments in first. Scott says, anyone fancy Steve Cooper as manager? I think he's still manager at Forest at the moment there. And I think, doing a good job there. It's just basic defending, for God's sake. I agree. It ain't even rocket science, Gray. It ain't even rocket science. Ivan, watching in Sierra Leone. I hope you're well, Ivan, says Rodgers should have learnt from his mistakes. I agree, Ivan. Sadly, you probably had to watch that in your cinema yesterday. Bring back Sol Bamba, says Liam. Glad to hear Sol Bamba is doing well now. Ellis is simply BR out. What's happened putting 3 players forward on corners? I don't know, Terry. It seemed to work quite well in the one game we tried it, as did having a player on each post at some point. We do seem to be changing some of the tactics, so they must have been practicing something. James saying that tactic is schoolboy. Kieran Dewsbury always trying to catch people offside, lol. What with that running off the post, I think he's talking about there. V says, glad you're better, Tom. That's nice. Tina says, if Brendan stays, top 4 will be gone by October. Let me see who we can add in. I'm going to add in, because we've got so many people clicking on to give us our video views, Tom. I'm going to add in Mahad and Imran together, okay? So, Tom, here comes Mahad and Imran. Let's start with you, Imran. Thank you. It's nice to meet you the other week at the match, Imran. Out at the Blues Bar. Give us your views, please.
Yeah, so just 2 points. I know there's a lot of people waiting, but first point I want to make is the atmosphere yesterday at the King Power was probably the worst I've seen it in the second half. I sit in L1, just actually K1, which is next to L1, and they're usually quite loud. And it was dead. And 10 minutes before the game, a lot of people just started getting up and leaving. So that was point number 1, is I think Rodgers has just drained the morale of the fans more than anything. That's point number one. And then point number two, we talk about leaders, we talk about corners, we talk about playing a good game. But the fact is, I think players are programmed to play negatively. And that's what's happened this season, is that this tippy-tappy, backward, sideways passing, the team is now programmed to do that. The first option they take is the easy option. I think we won a throwing in the first half, where I'm sitting, and 4 passes later, it was back at Schmeichel's feet. So it's just that negativity. When we should be putting the ball in the box, we go backwards. And that's what the problem is. You can play 3 at the back, you can play 4 at the back, you can play 5 at the back, but you can still have some attacking intent. And I think that's what's happened, is that I think even at Roma, same problem. Everything was very lethargic and tepid. So it's quite, I don't know what he's done. Like, I'm not Rodgers out yet, but he needs to change something, because the players are programmed now to play negative. And they were my 2 points, mate.
Imran, I think you made some great points there. And again, about the atmosphere yesterday, I think it was a bit after the Lord Mayor show in Rome. Everybody's a bit shattered. Everton got a lot to play for, and their fans were noisy and boisterous. I mean, remember, Everton hadn't won away since August last year. So I think that was part of it, Imran. But I think, Imran, just before I let you go and go on to Mahad, it's boring football, mate. It's just boring. I hate to say it, it's boring.
It's boring me. It's boring me to such a level now, where I'm going to go Wednesday. I never not go, but it's actually quite boring. We will beat Norwich. I mean, I'm positive about that. We should beat Norwich, should I say? But yeah, we just need to come out and start. The shots we take as well. I mean, it's like we want to score the perfect goal. You don't necessarily have to score the perfect goal. We just have to get a deflected goal, get the crowd on your feet, put a tackle in, get the crowd up. We just don't seem to do any of that nowadays.
Yeah, indeed. Imran, thanks for your points. It's so good to get you on again. Lovely to meet you the other week down there. Tom, just before I let you go, Imran, Tom, do you want to react to Imran's views on the crowd and side-to-side boring football? We're bored.
Fair play to Everton. Their fans were absolutely superb yesterday.
Oh, brilliant. They were brilliant.
Can't fault them. That's a team fighting for their lives. Weeding up the situation where I started seeing going down and then scoring 30 seconds later. And then obviously, like you say, the side to side is the bit was, I think, the frustrating of all, really, because we know there's a team who can play better than that. We've seen that 18 months ago with the performances away at Villa, performances at home to Arsenal, 2-0 and stuff like that, where when we move the ball quickly, we look deadly. But at the moment, that in the last 12 months, that's gone.
Yeah,
it really has gone. Like that quick football, the quick slick play we had, it's disappeared. Now look, some of it will be down to chops and changing the team. Let's not get wrong. By the end of this season, we would have played 58 games. I think that's the most we've played in a long time. 58 games in a season, coming off the back of another long season last year. I think some of it's taken the toll on the lads' fitness levels. But also, like I say, chopping the changing every week. There's no consistency to the team, what is not helping in any shape or form of the team trying to gel and get back to some fluidity for me.
Yes, and I agree. And Phil, just last point, right? I heard you speak on the day we got knocked out against Roma, and you said you were very proud. We got to a European semi-final. Totally agree. I was proud. But then I started looking back, and I compare it to the Atletico Madrid game, and we got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And I thought, when was I more proud? Was I more proud losing to Atletico Madrid, where we gave it a really good go in the premier European competition, or was I more proud on Thursday last week, where we got knocked out in the third-rate European competition? Just a bit of food for thought for you, but I'd take the Atletico Madrid game. I was more proud after that game, even after being knocked out. Just an FYI.
I think I'd had a couple of shandies on Thursday night. Let's hope nobody else was watching that. Thanks for watching. I'll let you go, mate.
All right, cheers. Bye.
Great to have Imran on. Nothing happened Thursday night. Mahad.
Yeah.
Listen, mate. I know I want to hear what you want to say, because you always sort a lot of sense. Brendan Rodgers at one point yesterday, we haven't even touched on this because there's so much to talk about. At one point yesterday, we've been screaming to have 2 players up top. At one point for 5 minutes yesterday, we had 3 players up top. We had Nacho, Daka, and Vardy all on together. We had 3 there for just 5 minutes. So for 5 minutes, Brendan thought that was a great move. But then 5 minutes later, he thought it wasn't. I'm scratching my head. at that tactic, because either play it for 10, 15, 20 minutes and think that's a tactic, or why has he only done it for 5? Mad.
I think he's forgotten the tactic that actually won him the FA Cup, and the one that when Vardy's goals dried up, I think he didn't score for something like four months. We switched to a front two, and then we had a back five, I think it was. Now, personally, I think this season, when we have actually tried to play a back five, we haven't looked amazing. We've looked quite depressive, but at least he's trying something new. That's the main thing. Even in the PSV game, when he tried something new, he brought on Perez. I think he tried to play a 2 up top with Perez as a 2. And it changed up a lot. But one thing I looked at today was the stats. Now, I'm not really a fan of stats without context, but the stats show that our expected goals, we should have something like 7 or 8 less goals than we do, and we should have conceded 4 more goals. And then apparently that puts us at expected points of 35, which puts us only 2 points ahead of Everton, I think it is. And we're on the same number of games as Everton. So this right now is a relegation team. And every time we win and then we go on a losing streak, it sort of it gets the fans up and gets us believing that actually we are much better than we are. The Conference League, by the way, the biggest sticking plaster this season. Because let's not forget, we were odds on to actually win the Europa League with Napoli. And yet we drop out. And then we're getting happy about getting the semi-final, forgetting that the performances have been bad all season. And the problem is with performances, eventually your performances will, if you play badly, you're going to eventually go bad with your points. And it's the same way, if you keep actually playing well and you keep actually producing a high number of chances, you're just going to miss that 1% every now and again. But then eventually you will get what you deserve. So you look at, say, Brighton, I think they moved up something like 6 points or 7 points this season. And they were actually getting a high XG last year, or that they were creating a lot of chances last year. They just didn't have anyone to put them away. And then I think this year they've actually improved the number of goals they score. But they've continued with that. And what we've done is we've just gone the other direction where we've continued to play badly. And by the way, £100 million on a training ground, and we can't coach. At least try to get some new coaches or something. Like I'm not a fan of this whole huge thing about trying to attack people on like a personal level. It's just a professional thing where if you can't, if you're just not willing to change your opinion on something and actually switch up the style, then you really have to consider whether you are the right person for the job. He comes out against Forest and talks about a rebuild. We've got £100 million training ground that we're still paying off. We've got £100 million, I think, on the stadium. I've heard we're doing a whole a Wembley Way thing where we're going to build some flats as well, which apparently might also cost a lot of money. So the club's actually paying out a lot to try and invest in the future. So unless we sell people, we're not really going to be able to get people in. I genuinely don't believe we're going to sell that many people for good money. Tielemans is not going to go for more than 30 because everyone knows he's only got a year left. Maybe Maddison leaves. Who knows? So I don't know about the summer either. So, yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one. Mahad, as ever, thanks so much for joining us, giving us your views. I'm going to let you go. Thanks again for joining us and getting them in, okay? He's gone. Tom, I think Mahad was quite generous there about the 3 up top for 5 minutes. I've been asking for a plan B. So when it was on, I was like, maybe this is plan B, 3 up top. But he did it for 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, it was.
Is that tactics, Tom, to have 3 players up top for 5 minutes and then change it again?
It didn't make any sense to me taking Daka off, mate. The bloke scored a goal. His confidence is probably sky, and he's probably hoping he gets another chance in around the box. But then you take him off and he natural one. No, look, don't get me wrong, mate. Let's just remember Pickford pulled out 3 worldies yesterday. The game we don't want him to. He pulls out a worldie for Mendy that was going in the top corner. He pulls off a worldie from Barnes, tapping one in the bottom corner and gets his hand to it. He pulls another worldie off from Barnes, putting in the bottom corner. The game could have been completely different if it is not Pickford in goal and probably Begovic or whoever was there, second keeper. There was a point that I'll pick on man who said, and that was about people in positions and change things up. Now, this is something I mentioned back just before December time when we played away at Villa Park. And it was something I got slated for mentioning or even suggesting it on BBC Radio Leicester, my pipes, was that how can I say about sacking a member of staff? Now, if Reedy comes to your workplace, Phil, and he's not doing the job he's being paid to do, and he's mucking up half the time, and he's not making the right cup of tea and everything like that, you sack him. You move him on. You say thanks for everything, Reedy, but it's time to we're gonna find someone who can do the job properly, even if he does dress smart every single day. But
Never sack me. I'm too good. I'm too
Reedy
good.
he works hard, Reedy does. See you in a minute.
But my point of view,
Yeah,
is
I get your point.
And this is what I was saying about Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure for me. We brought him in. He's been, I don't know if he's the set piece coach. There's a lot of talk that the assistant manager does the set pieces. But once again, it's another person, like I said, Kolo's the defence person. He's been with him since Celtic. He's a defender. Obviously, he works with him. We've seen it before kickoff when he's out doing stuff with him. His job's not working, then you move that person on. I love that Brendan has this affection for Kolo. But for me in the summer, the backroom staff probably needs to freshen up, and he'd be one for me that you need to freshen up from.
Let's add in Ross, and then don't worry, Jack, we are getting you on, mate. Here comes Ross, live from sunny Sheffield. How are the Wednesday doing tonight in that big...
Well, funny, I've been watching it while I've been waiting. And
1-1.
Let's be honest, you talk about, 1-1, the final whistle, 10 minutes
That's
about
it, gone.
time.
Final whistle's gone, mate. Sunderland's
final
gone
whistle.
to the playoffs.
Sunderland in the final.
Thanks,
Listen,
Tom. Thanks for ruining the moment.
Ross,
LCFC
LCFC Gray says this: I'm scared of the Norwich game. We can't beat anybody.
I mean, to be honest,
what happens at the Norwich game at this rate?
I think at the Norwich game, if we don't win, I think Brendan is really under pressure. I think Top needs to look at it, thinking, is he the right guy to take us forward into next season? People talk about the game. Yeah, if game's officially gone now. It's not about on that. Managers have sacked. Owners have sacked managers before certain things. Let's not forget, about a year ago, Mourinho got sacked a week before a League Cup final. Pearson got sacked at Watford when he was doing such a good job for him, and then they got relegated when he got sacked. We sacked Ranieri at that time, at that point. So people say, we should wait till the end of the season, but I've got the feeling if we actually do lose to Norwich, will he pull the trigger? That's a big thing, and it depends on how we play. You talk about, you said it earlier, so the guy hit the nail on the head. When he said it, I'm like, damn, he took my point about the atmosphere. Just while I've been in Gorilla watching that game, the atmosphere between Sheffield Wednesday, they're a League One side, bearing in mind, is a whole lot better in 10 minutes than ours in this entire season. They've just scored and they were jumping up and down, doing all their things. Their atmosphere was incredible, and I don't ever credit Sheffield Wednesday being from around here, but they were absolutely incredible. Our atmosphere has been absolutely dire this season. It's no wonder people go to more away games than home. The atmosphere used to be bouncing.
Ian says here, let's put it on. Jim says, is anybody confident about the Norwich game? Ian says, I'd love to see what Brendan writes in his notebook. And then Anthony says, I'd hate that solid notepad. Drives me nuts. Look, this is what he needs to write in his notepad.
Must practice corners if we've got... Oh, God. That's another thing I want to bring up. Right. You've not got time to practice corners, but yet you're playing water polo and having massages and all that palaver. So, do you know what? There's two things that I think this sums up this season. The return of the fans, it's not been great for Leicester. Let's be honest. Don't get me wrong, it's great going to games. Don't get me wrong. But look at last season when we had no fans in. We had the best away record, I think. And
the stats will show you that. The 2 seasons, they work well. Tom?
I'm just going to pick up the point about the way things, man. I think if you look at the 2 seasons through the COVID and everything like that there was a lot more away wins than was home wins because teams didn't fear going to any ground because they were empty. At the moment, teams don't fear coming to Leicester at the moment because they all know what to do, and that is put in a deep block and let Leicester try and break it down. And it's something I've said for a long time against the Leicester team. So anything from about 6 downwards, as Pipe said yesterday, that if you come in and you put a deep block in and you defend well, you'll get something, because at the moment Leicester don't seem to have the creativity or the guile to get through a deep blocking line or get in and around the penalty area.
I
mean,
want to pick
Ross,
up. I just want to pick up Reedy's comment, not that one. The Reedy's comment just then. That one. Try that saying that to Newcastle, because Newcastle United, no matter how bad they before, their owners and Eddie Howe came in, their fans were incredible. Obviously, not when.
Well, Ross, I don't think so. They weren't going to the games after the Newcastle
well,
fans.
The ones that were going. Going.
I'd rather pick. I want to give, because Tom's Brendan in. I'm still Brendan in. Ross.
To be honest, 7 games ago, me and Jack were on Radio 5 Live speaking to Robbie Savage and saying how well we did against PSV. I don't know if people tuned in and listened to us from the Newcastle hotel. 7 games later, I'm back on saying that Youri Tielemans has been shocking this season. You remember me, by the way, so I had to plug it in about Leicester Fan TV as well. And he wants to come on the show too.
Ross, get to the point. You're drifting. Todd's comment there is: we won the FA Cup, we won the Charity Shield, European semi-final, and 2 top 5 finishes. Anybody Brendan out is crazy.
But here's the problem, though: set pieces. That's the thing. If you watch the game, obviously we all watch the games, but sorry, I'm just reading that comment from Ian.
Just react to the first one.
React. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's conceding over 20 goals from set pieces in all competitions. Over 20. That is more than worrying. That is very, very worrying indeed. And end of the day, what are they doing? Oh, well, actually, no, I'll scrap that. They're probably not even practicing it, because you've got a guy like Kolo Touré. He wasn't exactly a great defender, was it? I mean, coaches, it wasn't a great one. It was a good one, but it wasn't a great one. Let's be honest. You want a good defensive coach, Steve Walsh, Matt Elliott, Jerry Taggart. They knew how to defend. Let's be honest. I think
Kolo Touré played at a high. Well, I guess you'd say a high level.
I think the game's changed so much since Tags and everything. To bring someone like Tags in now and Elliott, I don't think even they would want the challenge to try and turn this around.
Well, you said about aggression. You picked up on it, Felipe, earlier about aggression. Hamza Chowdhury. That guy has got a lot of ruthless aggression in him. It's like back to the old days where getting into the tackles, not afraid to get stuck in. Everybody's scared. Oh, Chowdhury's going to get sent off. He's only been sent off once, and that was unlucky. But he's a regressive guy. That was someone we needed on Thursday. And playing Kieran Dewsbury Hall at left back, it's past the watershed. It's WTF. It is right. WTF. Like, what on earth is going on? I'm surprised no one actually swore after 9 o'clock, to be fair. It is past the watershed, bearing in mind.
Keep it clear on Leicester Fan TV.
No, that's fair enough.
Listen, I've got to get Jack on because he's been waiting so patiently, Ross.
From the gym, so I'm going to have a rest.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back to 5 Live. Cheers. Thanks for giving us a moment of your time, Ross.
No, really.
See you later, mate. Listen, let's just, before I get Jack on, because I know he'll have a bag full of things to say to us, let's get a few comments in there. Ben says, so Todd, do you think this is good? We live in the here and now, not last season. We are awful at the moment. He needs to go. Yes, mate, I'm out. Nick saying we need to wake up. We're not Little Leicester anymore. This is not League One nor the Championship. We've won the Premier League. We've won the FA Cup. We have played in Europe. We are not Little Leicester. And that is the other side of it. We've got a massive, expensive training ground. We've got a ground expansion on the way. The aim, somebody asked earlier, what's the aim for the next 5 years? I would think it is top 6. Going deep into cup competitions, winning some, getting to Wembley and playing in Europe. And that's why the Leicester fans are saying, look where we've come from. Look where we've come from in the last 6-7 years. Don't look at it from the last 10, 20, 100 years. Let's get Jack in. Here we go. Jack.
Hello.
Oh, God. Just have your say, mate. What do you want to say?
Well, the Europa Conference League, I mean, we made a lot of changes against Tottenham. The whole team, apart from Casper and Castagno. I thought, you know what, we'll have a good chance against Roma on Thursday night. When I got there, I was all confident on that. Got to Stadio Olimpico, and what a load of crap. Ricardo wants Tammy Abraham. Come on now, why putting a little man on bloody the great Carly or something like that in wrestling? I don't really care, to be honest. Brendan, he's stubborn. Jose knows how to change it in a game. Brendan doesn't. Brendan's got one plan, and that's it. If his plan ain't gone to plan, then that's it. He don't know how to do it. And then yesterday, Absolutely embarrassing. Everton have been crap all season, and we got absolutely embarrassed by them. And then they had one corner, like you said, and they scored. What Casper again, not coming off his line. Who's demanding what, Phil? Casper's supposed to be a captain, a leader. He's supposed to be encouraging them players to want to win games, not bloody lose all the time. We haven't won in 6 games now since PSV away. So Brendan is throwing the players and that under the bus now. For me, he's asking the players how to take the club forward. You're on £8 million a year, mate. You're the manager. You've been brought in here to coach the players, get the best out of the players, and do the best for the football club. Why are you asking players who, like Yuri Tillemans, who wants to leave to move the club forward?
Jack, I think we all feel Jack's pain there. Tom, you feeling Jack?
Of course you are. I think this season there's going to be, like you say, you got the Brendan in, you Brendan out. There's the whole thing that, look, we've come a long way in the space of 3 years in the Brendan, and this season's just been one of those seasons it hasn't worked out. Obviously with injuries, obviously with the players he brought in haven't settled in as quick as he needed to, and had to play more game times than he was expecting them to. But then there's the other side of it, like Jack says, well, hold on a minute, we go to a semi-final of European Cup and you've got Ricardo Pereira marking Tammy Abraham. It is just one of those bizarre seasons this year. I think we all got a bit. It's been a bizarre season from start to finish. Some of the decisions Brendan's done in games, we've all sat there and questioned his substitutions at times. The level of performances from certain players have not been anywhere near what they were the past seasons. Cags, Tillemans, Barnes. You can go down the list. Vardy's not even been hitting his stride, but then again, he's been in and out of the team. It's such a bizarre season, mate. I think that's the way to look at this season. Very bizarre. Everything from Brendan to the team itself.
I've got the solution for you, Jack.
What's that?
Oh, they're back.
The thing is, yeah, I don't want to wear them. I just want to be realistic in what I'm seeing, to be honest. I'm fed up of these idiots sitting there saying, oh, we're in League One this, that, and time ago. I don't care. I'm not bothered about League One. That was time ago. Move on. We're not Forest, who's won 2 Champions Leagues, who live in the Brian Clough era. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about that. We're the here and now. We've moved on since then. We've got great things. The Premier League, the FA Cup. I mean, Tom, a question to you. If this Europa Conference League wasn't a thing, and obviously we got knocked out of the Europa League, would Brendan Rodgers still be here at this point in time?
Yes, on the basis that I think Top has got a lot of faith in that man. I really do. He brought him into the club, mate. He went and signed him from Celtic, and I don't think he'll chop him that, change him that easily. You've also got the financial package, mate. Even if we sack him now, it's what 20-odd million we'd have to pay out or something stupid to get him out of the football club. Financially, it doesn't make any sense to do that at the moment. Financially, I think the club is still recovering. Like, not just Leicester, all clubs are still recovering from the coronavirus and the lack of funds coming into football clubs from that period of time. So, no, I think even if we'd not got, hadn't got this Europa Conference, the Mickey Mouse Cup, then, yeah, he still would have been here, and I still think he will get 10 games next season to turn it round.
One other thing.
Yeah, I can see Reed is in with his blue tints.
Yes.
Go on, Jack. Go on, Jack.
Has Brendan Rodgers run out of ideas? Is he stuck now to think, you know what, I don't know what to do anymore, like changes and that? Has he been stuck, Tom, now in the way he approaches things? I mean, he's very bizarre playing. Like I said, listening about you lot, going on about KDH at fullback. Luke Thomas. Is Luke Thomas good enough? Is that why Brendan Rodgers is thinking, oh, we'll play somebody else there instead of him?
Jack, clearly he's not. Clearly, Brendan Rodgers does not rate. This is like the Benkovic scenario. When we were short of central defenders, he would not play Benkovic. And he said it yesterday in his post-match. He thought Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who I've never particularly seen play at left wing back. I don't know if he did at Luton a bit, but he's saying that the guy who we've seen play for the last 18 months at left wing back on and off, Luke Thomas, was not his preferred left wing back, Jack.
I don't think Luke Thomas has been good enough this season. I've seen him good against Liverpool.
But do you think Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was any better yesterday?
Well, not at fullback, no. I mean, Dewsbury-Hall, I'd say...
Why would you play your aggressive... Why would you play your best aggressive central defender
No, you don't
central
go and put him
midfielder.
at fullback. You've got to play him in their natural positions. It's like I looked at the Roma team on Thursday night. Hamza Chowdhury were my man in that midfield. The centre defensive midfield job, we needed Hamza Chowdhury. If Hamza Chowdhury were in that midfield, Roma wouldn't even have bothered to come in for a tackle because they would have been shitting themselves. I'm not even going to lie. Jose Mourinho would have been thinking, what the hell have we got here? Sort of thing. This ain't going to plan. But I mean, this team now, you know, people are going to leave. I mean, do we trust Brendan with this rebuild after bringing Vestergaard in and Bertrand and players like that who really weren't good enough? Patson Daka, I'll give him next season for sure, but he ain't no Jamie Vardy. He's going to be irreplaceable, but when he is gone, he's going to be missed. Harvey Barnes, he's well off the pace for me. But there's a lot of players, Phil, I'd like to see go. Perez, Vestergaard, Bertrand. Most of them he's going. Schmeichel for me, Phil. He's one of them goalkeepers who's got in his head, no one's tested me. No one's better than me. There's no one at this club who can take my shirt from me. Maybe in the summer then, we should get somebody who will test his patience and make him want to play. Because at this minute in time, Casper's got the arrogance, the sort of goalkeeper where, if I concede 4 goals, I'm in the team the next week. You know what I mean? He knows he's that number 1 goalkeeper. Maybe we need somebody to compete with him, Phil.
I agree
Jack,
on that,
I agree on a lot. Go on, Tom.
I didn't say a few bits there. One, Tillerman's playing in the number 6 against Roma is another poor excuse for the idea because he's not a number 6. He's way off the pace when he's sitting that deep trying to defend. We saw it against PSV when he gave the ball away for their goal, playing the number 6 role. It doesn't work. The Casper debate. Look, Casper is up there, one of the greatest goalkeepers to ever play for the football club. At the moment, I still trust him enough to be in that position. I agree with you say that, Jack. Danny Ward is nowhere near good enough for me. I like Wardy,
level,
but he's a championship goalkeeper at best. I don't see him as a replacement full time for Leicester City. Danny Leeson been great in the championship, but he's not going to challenge Casper at the moment for that number 1 shirt. And I think there is a little bit of arrogance about Casper knowing that no one's going to knock me out of the team. There's rumours he was unhappy he didn't play in the cup game away at Forest. You know, that's the arrogance. He's unhappy he's not playing in a cup game where most first choice goalkeepers go, all right, mate, enjoy the game. I'm looking forward to seeing you play. You know, the odd backup keeper getting his game. But this is Casper. He thinks he is untouchable. And that is because Brendan's built this team around him. That's the way you have to look at it.
Lads,
just say one thing.
Question.
Just read Daka.
Go on, Tom.
You said about Daka, Jack, not giving enough game time.
Agreed. Not playing his natural position either.
Not playing that position, but we saw enough yesterday for me that he has got the ability to score goals at this level on the basis that he could easily snatch that chance. I've seen it years ago. Adi Akinbaye, for example, threw against Liverpool, smashing one over the crossbar. Threw against Liverpool, smashing one wide because he's not scored in 14, 15 games.
Tom, it was an okay goal. He took it nicely, but if you go and watch football on a Sunday, go and watch football around Leicestershire, you'll see most strikers who have that was a Sunday league defensive mix-up in their defence, and it drops down. He lets it bounce, and then he finishes it past the keeper. I'd like to put money on a lot of players who play in Leicester's football leagues that they would have finished that as well, Tom. I'm not going to have it. I took it nicely, but I'm not raving over that.
I'm not raving, but what I'm saying, after 14 games without a goal, there's players or strikers in that position who would have tried to fluffed it or done the easy option, and that's take it round the goalkeeper so he's got a tap in. He didn't. He kept his composure and a bouncing ball put it past the goalkeeper. I still think there's a player there, mate. I really do think there's something there. He knows where to need to be, but he doesn't play enough for me, and that's what I think he needs to do more.
Lads, a 30-minute show has turned into a 50-minute show. I thank you all for watching this. Before I let you go, I'm going to add Ross in just for a minute. He's such a numpty. Look at him.
God bless him, man.
He's always got his blue tinted ones on. Listen, thanks, Ross. There we go. Listen, thanks, Tom, for sticking around the whole show. Thanks, Reedy. Thanks, Ross. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Mahad. Thanks, Imran. Thanks, Joe. It was who came on as well. I'm going to let you all go, and I'm going to have the last couple of comments just with everybody who's on here. Imtiaz says, Laughing at that. Maddison might as well play in goal. He's tried him everywhere else as well. Square pegs in round holes. Casper is quality and loves the club. Just wish he would come off his line at corners. Players' attitude is awful. When we lose, no one is gutted. Rodgers' refusal to play two up front. Vards have a great record together when they play. Scott says we didn't create anything on Sunday. Daka scored from a defensive error. I agree, Scott. I'm not having it that was a great goal. Yes, he finished it quite coolly, calmly. Honestly, come and watch Loughborough Dynamo. Come and watch Anstey Nomads. Come and watch Holwell Sports. Come and watch Friar Lane Old Boys. They've all got players who would, if a Saturday afternoon player or a Sunday morning player had missed that, they'd have got stick because it was a one-on-one with the keeper and the ball sat lovely for him. Okay, what did I think of the booing of Gray? I never boo an ex-Leicester player, to be fair, and I think Gray. Well, anyway, but listen. People boo Riyad Mahrez.
No, there's only two Leicester players.
That is just stupidity. So anyway, listen, Ross, we're finishing. We are finishing because we've been going on way too long. We could talk for hours on this. Thanks everybody for all your views and all your comments. If you can do us the favour, please like and share our videos. Join us. Jack is on. Let's just add Jack back in for a second. Jack, you are in tomorrow night, aren't you, at 7:30?
Yeah, looking to a team who lost 22 games on the bounce. That season they got relegated last time, and then they beat Leicester at Carrow Road 1-0. We're playing a team who hasn't won for games, and then they're going to look for set-piece heaven. We've got Watford as well. We don't even win at Vicarage Road, so what chance do we even got?
What time's that tomorrow, Jack?
7:30 tomorrow night.
7:30. Thanks, Jack. 7:30. Jack is live on Leicester Fan TV, so please join him. We couldn't do it in an hour tonight. You'll probably overrun tomorrow. There's that much to talk about. We're still Leicester fans. It's still much better than it used to be back in the day. But honestly, we need to look forward, not backwards. Thanks, everybody, for all your views and all your comments. We can't do it without you fans. It's Leicester Fan TV. Cheers.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.